This is your daily market review for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review, Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a good day. As we talked about, this week had some upside potential, which it has. And then we talked about what? Potentially choppiness, sloppiness, games in between the CPI data on Thursday and the bank earnings on Friday. I've told people probably, and then not probably, Tuesday, Wednesday, again today, tomorrow, probably going to be just a bunch of nothing. I don't think you break out. I don't think you break down unless news comes out of nowhere. So why would the market wait for that? Well, think about it. The CPI data, that's a big deal. It's going to push the bond market. It's going to push the dollar around. It's going to push the perception of what the Feds are going to do coming up. And so I can imagine people who were long taking some profits. People who had shorts going into this week took some profit. And now you're going to get into what I call purgatory days. And purgatory days are just days where nothing happens. And you go snowboarding, go skiing, take your kids for a nice, lunch. Take your wife out for a solid day hiking. Do whatever you need to do. Sometimes watching the market all day, an absolute waste of time. We have longer term shorts from higher levels or from these levels, depending on the name. Just going to wait it out. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link in the description below. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you're paying attention. I'm always amazed that 80% of followers don't subscribe. A lot of people watch these, but they don't subscribe. I don't know. If you want to join the Discord room, again, it is free. Just please be active. Have questions. There's nothing you can do wrong really other than just show up. That's all that I appreciate. Because again, if you don't want to be involved, you don't have to be. But there's no reason to be in the Discord room then. It's there for people who want to learn. When the student's ready, the teacher appears. Like, subscribe, hit that follow button. Do me that favor. And watch the education videos. I'm telling you, this stuff is absolute gold. And most people don't spend more than 5 minutes learning how to trade, but they just want to jump into the market. It's like me giving you a basketball and going, hey, it's time to go play in the NBA. You ready? Here comes LeBron James. And you're going to have to play against some of the best. No, don't get smoked. Get your 5.5 with Marcus. Hit the referral code. Use the link. That is the key. Please use the link. Again, so many people are enjoying that 5.5%. Leave a message below if you actually use it. And again, I use it. I actively use this thing. I recommend it. I share it with everybody because, again, it's basically like an online portal for getting 5.5%. If you do the math on that, it adds up quickly. It ends up being mortgage payments. Maybe it pays your property taxes for the year, all from interest. Remember the 2000s when you used to make money on your savings account? Getting back there. Again, interactive brokers and also the trading agent. This website is starting to get updated again. Oh, I had some hiccups. We'll get there when we get there. Twitter, follow, like, subscribe. Posting a lot of stuff today. A lot of people. Again, if you're looking at real estate and I don't want to talk about being mean, but some clown says never have debt and Dave Ramsey is a god, I'm telling you, the poor get poor because they don't leverage debt. And people go, oh, what happens if you make a bunch of businesses, you leverage your real estate and you go broke? It's like, well, you didn't have an exit strategy. But if you use leverage appropriately to buy 10 or 15 houses, for example, but you think you're richer by paying off your house, and you could have bought 10 houses with that same money, I don't know how high you are, but again, that's the great leverage in itself is a tool. Tools not used well become dangerous. It's like guns or a knife or a shovel. If it's used well, it has a purpose. If you don't use it well, it can hurt you. Again, reach out if you have any real estate questions. That's my other passion, as you guys know. It looks like the rate cut potentially in March, but again, the market priced in 5 or 6 rate cuts. So keep that in mind. Bitcoin, we talked about, I don't personally think it's going to break out. Look, it got the top of our range. I saw that today. I was like, It's been strong. I'm not saying here go ahead and short it, but I would be looking at pullbacks in time. Michael Saylor, whatever, MicroStrategy, they know what they're doing. Sell more shares at the highs. Let Bitcoin pull back. He'll buy more. Oil, Saudis are dropping prices. Demand destruction is a real thing. There's a big short interest. I don't know if it's going to chop around. Again, I would not short commodities. I would not short Bitcoin. I wouldn't short gold. Wouldn't short that stuff, but do not be surprised if the market gets throttled at some point. What happens is they throw the baby out with the bathwater. You got to be careful. Natty gas, we've talked about this being a strong trade. You're welcome. Leave a comment below if you took on that natural gas one. Because again, we talked about KOLD. I mean, near term, I still think there's probably a little bit of upside. Potentially you could see natural gas a little higher. But if you took that trade and shorted KOLD in the 110 to 115 level, you struck gold. Dollar, again, we talked about it bouncing. Remember, this is XDiv. If you'd have taken out this gap, it basically goes 200, 100 day. Unfortunately, I can't, again, just cut and paste that and put it right here. That's where we're at. We're stuck in between. TLT, we talked about the 9900 range was going to be absolutely a beast to get through. We're backing up. Near term, remember, first dip typically gets bought. The VIX, I mean, are you kidding me? You're getting gifts down here. I mean, like ready, set, sell, my friend in the Discord room. Same thing I was thinking. Like, man, you are getting amazing risk reward here buying puts long term, even short term, maybe on some names. Vixen, again, just define your risks. Chopping around. VIX, we talked about this. Look at this coming right back down. Could it get maybe down to 74 again? I'm not trading. I'm just watching. I'm just impressed that they're able to take these products and just stretch them all over the place. SPY. Okay, inside day. Here's again, purgatory days. This was the day that mattered. Clearly, short squeeze. We talked about last week. Coming down. Going to bounce at some point. Surprised that we actually got through the 20-day? Yeah, again, this is a probability game. You can't sit here and go, I know exactly what's going to happen all the time, every time. No. Well, look what happens. It's filling the gap. We talked about, especially like for the QQQ, 405s, 406 areas. That's pretty good. Check this out, right? Near term, I mean, probably nothing. QQQ. Same thing said, you know, and here it is. And here's my crappy drawing. Some sort of bounce chop. Well, do we fill the gap at 408 or do we hold this like area right here? Keep in mind. Just keep an eye on it. 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 So keep this item in. Same thing. Like we talked about. Got drilled. It's probably going to chop. It's going to bounce. Dia with the Boeing issues, right? Boeing. David Bowie. Holding 20 day. This is actually acting stronger. GLD. Again, leave it alone. Leave it alone. If it breaks out, go. Fine. Jump with it. Jump on it. But if it doesn't, this could be just choppy and sloppy because, again, silver miners are not falling. Look at this. Silver. GDX, right? The big miner should be strong like bull. Excuse my puking sound, but that's really the problem here is like you get like, and here's the trend line near term too for GDX. You get comfortable hearing all the bullshit out there about how the miners are going to act. And it's like, they're not. Remember, if gold was breaking out, these names would be absolutely going nuts. And again, I always tell people, when's the best time to buy it? When the feds pivot and the liquidity comes in, this stuff is absolute, ironic, gold. Newmont, look at this. I'm like dry heaving. Because again, I just feel bad for people that think this is going to happen. Odds say it doesn't. Go study the past. When the market has tumultuous times, which I think are coming, and the feds haven't pivoted, these things get absolutely dusted. Destroyed. And if it doesn't happen, that would be the outlier. Taiwan semi, my short of the year because I think at some point China coming. China is a coming. Not surprised. Bounce the 20-day, chopping around again. Purgatory day. Micron. Again, I think this thing's an absolute piece of poo. Keep an eye on it. AMD. I mean, again, all these names got dropped down pretty quick. First time down, buyers show up. AMD being one of the stronger ones, of course, coming back to the highs. NVIDIA. I mean, Nancy Pelosi. I repeat, if you are in Congress and you are seeing her trade like this and you don't care, I mean, she's literally like buying calls. And again, I think she tried to be sneaky buying deep in the money calls. And this is amazing. Now, near term, this feels like a blow off top. People are like, oh, do the math. Like it's valued at Google, the value of Google, but has, I think it was like a third of the business. And then again, they're projecting future, but here's the thing about chips and what they're doing. Every in their body and their mom is going to try to compete with them. Google has a lock. Google have lock. No, Google has a lock on search. And NVIDIA will not have a lock on chips forever. Intel, we talked about this, getting the Israeli money for a subsidy, rallying, SMH, same kind of thing. Drops down, gets your ego on. Interesting area. It's retesting and chopping around. Adobes, talked about this name being absolutely, I mean, not absolutely, but this being a professional gap and then chopping down. again, stair step lower, holding 100-day. I'd be watching 20-day. Apple reduces profit by 30%. And this is the thing. We talked about this all last week. Don't be surprised if it bounces from the oversold levels. Look at this. Held the 200-day. Still think this is going much lower in my opinion. I mean, they got problems. If China starts making headwinds and they start cutting off all American products, and again, I don't know about cutting off, but again, they're just not going to push that stuff. Apple got problems. Again, it's trading with negative growth and negative growth to come. Yikes. Amazon, talked about the gap down. Here's the hardest thing, right? Trading. Knowing for certain, all right, well, you're rallying back. CRM had a nice, again, a lot of these names had up yesterday, and there's a lot of, either you have like these wick blow-offs or just chopping around. Name like Google, actually, coming back to the highs. I mean, that's one of the things you're noticing. Back to the highs, chopping or nothing. Meta, chopping around. This made a new high. Off the lows, and then Doji. Microsoft, we've talked about this name being stuck in the mud. Chop, chop. Chop, chop, fizz, fizz, what a relief it is. NASDAQ, NVAQ, we talked about this exchange being do. All right, again, the market pulling things up, bouncing. MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, genius, sells more shares. We talked about this. Somebody knows something. Come on down, daddy. Netflix, chop day. Again, another inside day. Look at that, literally. Man, that candle's like look at the wicks, high and the lows, multi-day ranges. If you're not familiar with multi-day ranges, check out the video on such. Here you go, Roblox. We talked about what happens in the 47 area. Seems to reject. So far, so good. And then look at Tesla. Everybody's favorite. I'm sorry. It's probably not cool to hear. Watch the 200-day. I mean, everyone and their mom was saying it's going to break out. We said, watch this 260s. Oops. Airbnb. Talked about this one as a great short. Oversold. We talked about rally to the 20-day. Typical formation. Ding, 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 ding. Costco. Just again, not surprised. This one's interesting because, again, it's coming back into some support and resistance. Keep an eye on it. Now, again, if you want to short names that are at the highs, be careful. They can always retest. Starbucks, a global growth name. I mean, there's a Starbucks everywhere. You can't go anywhere with people and there not be a Starbucks. The stock is showing you something wrong. FedEx, everybody and their mom said, hey, it's the biggest buy of the century after their earnings, which, again, that was a good little trade. I mean, let's not argue here. You probably, if you made, 7 points on this, you made a couple percentage. Not going to hate on the haters. Don't be a hater. But it said I wouldn't trust it. Now we're chopping it back at the lows. Caterpillar felt like it would be really nice to see this up. The long-term trend line didn't get there. If it does get there, holler. Nucor, again, material names, don't trust them. Hits highs, flop. X, a lot of people are like, oh, and this is not Twitter. Obviously, this is United States Steel. I don't think they will get bought out by Nippon Steel. Nippon. But I also think there's other buyers there, potentially. And if there are other buyers, I don't know the downside. VALE. Another global growth name. Stuck in the trap zone. Here you go, Arrow. We like this one longer term. We talked about this. We said it's probably going to do to bounce. Now your next levels of resistance, it's sticking at CCJ. Impressive, up 4.5%. Cool. See what happens here. Because again, this is the thing. Do not go shorting commodities. If you really want to be careful, because I think they're the best buyout targets. Look at all the oil names. Look at some of the things like my man Jay Sol's talking about, like certain names are getting like call options, like letter X. Like but again, let them throw the baby out of the bathwater. And then you can take them for that ride for that next bull market. Mosaic, man, come on down. Come on down. NTR, a lot of these names just stuck in the chop zone. Ron. Key and Peel reference. Chopping. XLF. Breathe a sigh of relief. I don't know. Either way, people are like, oh, when's it going to die? I'm like, I don't care. If you give yourself time, you short up here. We talked about buying FAZ, shorting FAS in these levels. Okay. Give yourself some time. JP Mo. Finally, it is happening. No, we don't know. They have earnings on Friday. Keep in mind. But this is like price to perfection. New 52-week high. All-time highs, I think. Morgan Stanley. Price to perfection. See what happens up here. Bank of America. Price to perfection. Going into earnings. A little scary. Scary. Goldman Sachs. Again, be careful if you want to play puts on these. There might be some cheapies. Carry. We talked about the no pass zone. Not going to pass. No doubt fail zone. Chop. Chop. XBI, interesting, right? Making new highs. But here's the thing we talked about. Don't be surprised if today, sorry, not today, yesterday was a blow off. Now, again, it doesn't mean it can't go a little higher, but man, high volume at the lows, followed by high volume at the highs. That seems tradable to me. Keep an eye on it. Solar, as we talked about, if you're buying solar, you are, insert derogatory term that's very gentle. Like, you're silly. Again, solar is going to have problems with oil and gas. You have government subsidy issues all over the world. I like shorts on these names. We talked about them. Let them pop. For solar, I think is probably the easiest here, but it's also the hardest in that it's kind of wide and loose. I mean, you could argue head and shoulders, but then it's coming into an old resistance zone. So it's going to go when it's go. HYG, I was impressed yesterday that anybody and their mom would be stupid enough to buy corporate debt. And they are. But again, they're looking at the value from the relative value from cheapness, whatever. Oil, good luck, feds. Good luck. Oil goes higher. You guys are going to get stuck in the pickle juice. Sorry, I'm just having fun. UNG, we talked about not my favorite. Ooh, didn't even see that. That's kind of interesting. As we talked about, shorting KOLD, so far the best trade of the year. If you short it up here, now you're at some, and again, I don't really watch support resistance, but somebody knew something here. So I would probably be booking some gains here near term and just seeing what happens. That's just my interpretation of it. XOP, again, great trade. We talked about this is hard. We had drip, bought it in the 9s. If you got stopped out, you got stopped out. Exelon Mobile, just kind of playing with words, chopping here. Again, these names are cheap relative to value, but here's the thing. Commodity demand destruction. Oxy, we talked about. Buffett, just sell, cover calls. Selling probably puts. He's just loving this. He's like, I don't care where it goes. Bolero. Chopping. Chop. This is CVE. Oh, yep. My man Jay Solstice and a few of the friends on the Discord room talking about the big call action in the February, I think 18 strike price, or the $17 strike price in February. Somebody thinks it might get bought out. Keep an eye on that. I love when you guys post those and pull them out. Because again, there's no guarantee, but if someone else is buying a ton of calls, Nancy Pelosi's ringing the register or doing something, you need to pay attention. MPC, chopping, chop. EQT, Inflex LNG. Again, EQT, chop. Not really like, again, we know this coming down in time. Just let it play. Inflex LNG. And thank you guys for posting the Discord room. The U.S. became the biggest natural gas exporter in the world. Here is a natural gas exporting American company with a juicy J dividend. And in time, again, I want to see this thing get pounded and then pull back and then we buy. All right, if you have any questions, again, use the Calendly link. Please reach out. I'm always here to help. Let me know what you need. Do not be shy. If I can't answer your question, guess what? I'll at least try and help you out, point you in the right place. Talk to you later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.